ngawa ufa walanda tinkoya eno yonishi mwina ngumbo mwimono kufala matai temukalale na byali nwe mwimona majeke tokulepa na ndibona likwata kwesu chabanga bana banomba.
It's often said that life is like a journey, a long journey which begins with a single step. For Mr. Frederick Jacob Titus Chiluba, that journey began from Musangu village. The village is located 126 kilometers north of Mansa. It is in Chief Lumunda's area in Mwense district. The most defining moments in Mr. Chiluba's life occurred during his illustrious career in the labor movement. He led the Zambia Congress of Trade Union, ZCTU, as Chairman General for 17 years. Due to his distinguished service as a labor leader, Mr. Chiluba's name became synonymous with trade unionism in Zambia. His relentless fight for workers' good conditions of service didn't go well with the UNIP government. In what could be described as mere public relations, Dr. Kaunda maintained a cordial relationship with Mr. Chiluba while at the same time harboring very strong views. It's no wonder that President Kaunda's administration imprisoned Mr. Chiluba for 4 months despite the public gesture of goodwill. It was precisely these conditions that prepared Mr. Chiluba to develop strategic leadership skills and vision of peace, which finally led to a democratic Zambia.
I'm glad, therefore, to take this opportunity to say now, those who want to form their small parties are most welcome, provided they know that we want peace in Zambia, peace, stability, unity, and development. This fellow is signing on behalf of 8.5 million Zambians.
Repeal of Article 4 of the Constitution can be termed the dawn of multi-party politics. Plural politics entailed a lot of interaction among leaders of the various political parties. Mr. Chiluba, as leader of the newly formed Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, led his party at various meetings. It is such meetings which culminated in the first ever multi-party convention on July 19, 1991. On its part, the church in Zambia played a very vital role of reconciliation and promotion of unity. Indeed, the mood was right for competition.
For years, the UNIP government has promised us a better economy. But every year, a large slice of your money goes to paying for expensive foreign debt. Another chunk is lost through incompetence. Another goes into paying for unworkable plans, until finally you're left with the crumbs.
Everybody's going to vote for UNIP and vote for KK.
Constituency 122, Mapatizia, Kalomo. This is one of those where we are still negotiating, talking to people around there.
It's only a few hours away. We are saying farewell to our founding president. Let us say farewell to our president. Bye-bye, Dr. Kaunda. The hour.
After the biggest ever multi-party rally on the 30th of October 1991, Mr. Chiluba's party lay in wait for elections. For millions of Zambians, the 1991 elections was the turning point in the history of their country. The verdict was indeed loud and clear. Change had become inevitable. President Chiluba and the MMD easily won the election. The president received 76% of the votes, while his party scored 83% of the parliamentary seats. In his inaugural speech, the president-elect committed himself and his government to rebuilding Zambia.
The greatest lesson we can learn from the past 27 years is that freedom is at the core of every successful nation. In the world and in Africa today, the great nations, the prosperous nations, are the free nations. A new breeze is blowing in Zambia, the breeze of democracy and freedom, the breeze of human rights. The winds of change predicted for Africa decades ago have finally reached our land.
Upon assuming the presidency, Mr. Chiluba urged all Zambians to go out and help start rebuilding the nation. His dictum was that with our hands and our own sweat, the nation should be built. It was with such vision that major rehabilitation works in the country began. Top on the agenda was the road infrastructure. Good road network was deemed a sure guarantee of economic growth. The education sector has suffered from inadequate funding between 1984 and 1991. The new government's vision was that an educated people was a catalyst to economic prosperity. The people themselves, therefore, had a role to play in the rehabilitation program. Multi-party politics brought with it a broad product choice. This was in line with the economic liberalization, which is one of the tenets of democracy. President Chiluba has been a dedicated born-again Christian. It's for this reason that he dedicated the nation to Jesus Christ.
I have now entered into a covenant, Lord, with the living God, and therefore I want to make the following declaration. I declare today that I submit myself as president to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. I likewise submit the government and the entire nation of Zambia to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Amen. I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
President Chiluba strongly believes that peace in the region is crucial to economic stability in Zambia and Africa as a whole. In line with this dogma on peace, he has been instrumental in search for peace in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The president's efforts in Congo DR came to fruition in July of 1999 when he hosted all the warring factions in Congo. In his effort to actively broker a peaceful resolution to the Congo conflict, President Chiluba has even reached out to the highest body on earth, the United Nations. All in all, President Chiluba's stand on peace has remained unshaken. This is the legacy Mr. Chiluba leaves behind as he prepares for his retirement next year. Unlike those who would like to obliterate their footsteps on earth, Mr. Chiluba's ideals will live on long after his retirement as president. From this foundation will rise an institute whose benefits to all can't be quantified. Like a tree planted in good fertile soil, a good philosophy can only survive and thrive with necessary infrastructure to support it.
This institute will be able to offer not a sanctuary, but facilities to those who wish to enrich themselves in understanding by being at the Institute or by associating themselves with the work of the Institute to understand fully the process, the mind, the spirit, and the letter of democracy. This will be absolutely important. I want to say that this is a very emotional moment for me to tell you practically what this means in my mind. To retire does not all depend on age. We must respect the law. If the law says you retire after 2 terms, even if you are 45 years of age, accept and step down so that you allow the process to continue.
Like many March days, Friday 10th was a very wet morning. This notwithstanding, President Chiluba and his entourage braved the rains to come and welcome the Malawian leader, Dr. Bakili Muluzi. The two leaders are not strangers to each other. Both are products of the new democratic dispensation. Other than sharing a common border, Zambia and Malawi enjoy a very cordial relationship. It was for this reason that President Muluzi was chosen to be part of President Chiluba's historic moment. Leaders will come and go, but the distinguishing factor will be their landmarks on the history of Zambia. The Frederick J.T. Chiluba Institute for Democracy and Industrial Relations Studies is definitely one such landmark. President Chiluba's belief has always been that the ability to make one's dreams come true rests on an individual. True to this, the Institute, which began only as an idea, was slowly shaping up into the real thing. President Muluzi, who himself is part of a new generation of African leaders, was here to solidify this reality. Indeed, the challenges of modern leadership goes beyond mere rhetorics. A good leader is now judged by his performance and ability to stick to his word. By observing the provisions of the constitutional clause, which restricts the tenure of office to 2 5-year terms, President Chiluba demonstrated that the presidency wasn't a lifelong occupation, and planting a tree at the area where the institute shall be was a symbolic gesture of the valuable contributions the center will make. The center's fruits, in terms of knowledge, will be enjoyed far beyond the borders of Zambia.
Democracy alone is not enough. We need to put structure which will ensure that the democratization which came about in 1990s should continue. Because otherwise you may have democracy today, somebody comes in, breaks that democracy. Therefore, the establishment of this center is so symbolic to the democracy we're talking about. And I really want to congratulate His Excellency President Chiluba for this Is it wisdom?
Wisdom is yours alone.
I really want to thank him for this, because not only will Zambians benefit from this center once it's built, but all of us, Malawi, the rest of Africa, will definitely benefit. And I'd like to assure you, Mr. President, that all of us will give you the support that is necessary to ensure that this center, not only are we seeing a flag, but we shall see a building within the next 1 year.
In departure from past practices, building expenses for the Institute are to be raised from fundraising ventures and well wishers.
Ishiye nyimbo ba mwana mayo bemba kungumbo. Ishiye nyimbo ba mwana mayo bemba kungumbo. Pakujana kalila bakingi muchitengewe mwana iluba ima. Wivana besu bakulunda sini mutambia kalila. Wivana besu bakulunda sini mutambia kalila. Wivana besu bakulunda sini mutambia kalila.
People from all walks of life responded to the call. The driving force was, of course, the nobility of the idea behind the Institute itself. Everyone understood the fact that with the Institute in place, there will always be a place for democracy in Zambia.
I know that delegates here and people who have come, our distinguished guests, will be making pledges tonight, but I want to be practical by actually giving a check to the president, and if I may ask him to come and receive this check.
Thank you, Life President. This check is worth $50,000 US.
Most of the people who attended also pledged to support the Institute in one way or another. President Chiluba couldn't hide his feelings.
I don't want to take your presence for granted. I know you could have eaten at home. It's not that you were very much attracted by the food available here. You could very well have eaten at home. But this is a mark of solidarity and support that you have shown. And I didn't want to get back home without saying thank you very much to one and all. This is a wonderful start. We'll keep our ears to the ground and ears open, eyes open. I know that we shall be moving together. This is not an idea to serve a particular individual. It will be an idea that will be translated and an idea that will give service, provide service to our country, to our region, to the continent, and to the world at large.
While the journey he began on 1st November 1991 as the second ever Republican president of Zambia comes to an end next year, President Chiluba's contributions to democracy will definitely live on. With the Institute in place, all such energies will definitely be channeled through here. Indeed, there's life beyond the presidency.
Chidamwa cholu chelo chinkalole mweva nkubandi sawa. Chidamwa cholu chelo chinkalole na sange nchinga iliketwe nekoloku pamulu wanchinga na totela kulitata mulungu. Gamwa kanshi waku ya kuchava kumfwane chibemba. kama kazi waku ya kuchava kumfane chivemba echo la kalumba na shuta mwivanku bandi abaire babwela pakuya mapi